The House of Jazz Artist Development Program is designed into 3 different components: mind, body, and soul. So we start the day with a study session, and each week we discuss a different topic for that week. We, of course, start with jazz history, and we spend a whole week diving into the 200 plus years of jazz. It is not even close to enough time, but what it does is it awakens every artist to the understanding of how much there is out there. And what's even more beautiful is that they have the opportunity, like I did, to find themselves within the history and understand that as much as we are a guest in this house, we belong here and we are seen here and we are understood here. During the second week, our study sessions are spent on personal development. And this is where we do a lot of the unlearning. So we are unpacking past limiting beliefs, putting down old stories, we're sharing, we're healing, we're shedding past selves, and we're holding space for that self-recovery. You don't need to learn anything more. You have everything you need inside you already. I'm just here to wake you up. I'm just here to remind you of who you are and who you always have been. So anything that resonates with you, anything that makes you feel heard or seen or understood, these are things that you already know. I'm just reminding you of what you already know and who the fuck you actually are. The third week study sessions are spent on career development. This gives our artists an opportunity to have personal development sink in for those epiphanies and those new realizations, and the healing and the recovering to settle. And so we dive into career development and the options and choices that they have over their career and the control that they have over their career, which is often so much more so than they often realize. And so we speak through the trilogy of the foundation that often our careers are built on, which is the who you know, what you look like, and what you can do, or how good you are. And we redirect those into a very inside out place, and really build a foundation for them to feel like they have much more opportunity and choice and control over their career path than they did when they first walked in the door. The fourth and final week of study sessions is spent on artist development, which is, again, one of my favorite weeks because we get to speak about being creative for creative sake. And not only is this week so important in regards to the evolution of one's career and the opportunities and choices and control that we have over our lives and our own personal journeys and career paths, but it also ties in the other 2 weeks so beautifully. So by the end of this week, that fourth and final week, it is incredible to see the light bulbs that go off in people's heads and the moments that they have where everything finally comes together and those last little pieces of the puzzle are placed. It is a game changer. It is something that you will never forget for the rest of your life. It will give you the understanding of what your personal definition of success is. It will give you the permission to do everything that you want to do, the permission that you haven't been giving yourself to do because you've been waiting for someone else to give it to you. You can give it to yourself. It's unbelievable. And it's everything that I wish I had. The study sessions are so important because nothing else really matters if your mindset isn't in a healthy place. If you are constantly working from a place of lack, you can go to as many classes as you want, but you are still leaving from a place of lack, which means you're not gaining anything, or you think you're not gaining anything. It's like running on a hamster wheel. You're not moving forward, but you're not moving forward not because you're not training enough. It's because of your intention for going in the first place. It needs to be shifted from lack to abundance. That's another invaluable part of the study sessions, is shifting your perception behind everything you do and finding your why. Everyone needs to know their why. The study sessions are built for longevity. We want you to have a career for as long as you want, but longevity needs to be laid out. That foundation needs to be laid out, and it takes time. The technical aspect of the program and the technique classes that we offer are not only important because it is a direct correlation to the history that they have been learning, but it's also to continue to invest in our artists, not just as artists, but as athletes. As dancers, we are artists and athletes, and that is so incredibly unique and special. We have yoga, which is the foundation of movement. We have ballet, which is the foundation of dance. And we have every single jazz technique that we can get our hands on over the last 200 years of jazz development. So we touch on Jack Cole, Luigi, Matt Maddox, African, body percussion, Latin, Fosse-inspired, and everything in between. That way, our artists can implement physically what they've been learning for a week in jazz history. There's something so powerful about being able to invest in yourself, not only creatively, but athletically. It reminds us that we're worth the investment. What can we do with practice, with consistency? What can we do? What can our bodies do? What can our minds do? It's incredible, the capacity that we have, and the understanding of our capacity is so much smaller than it actually is. And so every day I'm challenging all of our artists to embrace and fall in love with the idea of pushing past their fullest capacity, physically and mentally. The final component is our soul, of course, and the soul represents our choreography classes. In our choreography classes, we again give our artists an hour and a half at the end of every single day after they've warmed up their bodies, an hour and a half to sink their teeth into the art and the craft of one of the many different styles of jazz. So we have Latin, Hollywood, tap, contemporary, commercial, swing, jazz history 1 and 2, jazz theater, Fosse-inspired, and everything in between. And we make sure that we not only highlight the evolution of the history that led up to the development of this style and its place within it, but we make sure that the educators that come in to share their gift with our artists bring not only the steps, but bring the heart and the soul behind that specific style of jazz, so they can once again engross and immerse themselves in the richness of every different style of jazz.